All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So I've got a pretty interesting topic to talk about in this video. So the topic is alcohol and bodybuilding. How do I utilize it? Do I drink? How often do I drink? Is drinking a game changer in terms of your diet? Can it completely ruin your diet? Can it ruin your training? Can it ruin your muscle growth, your fat loss, etc., etc.? So for me personally, I used to be a heavy-ass drinker. As you can see by the complete redneck tank top here, this Budweiser Dale Earnhardt Jr. Tank top. But anyway, I used to be a pretty heavy drinker. Like when I turned 21, I was probably drinking 4 or 5 days a week, going out with my friends, going to bars, just even cracking a beer in my room, watching Jimmy Fallon or something. Man, I was drinking all the time. So that was the phase where I was bulking up to 225. So I don't really give a shit about my diet at that point. So I was just getting fat, getting bloated, whatever. But as I started to try to diet down, I really realized that alcohol, it cannot be a part of a diet. You just can't drink while you're dieting down. And the reason being is because when you drink, you are just always hungry for bad food. I always say I've never met a guy that was drunk and went to the fridge to get out his meal prep. When you're drinking, you want to get some McDonald's, you want to get some pizza, you want to get something fried, something cheesy, something salty, something like that. You almost never want to go to the fridge, get out your chicken breast and your rice for the week and start smashing on that. You want something quick, you want something tasty, you want something good. And that's just the way that alcohol works. It just triggers those mechanisms in your brain. You want that instant satisfaction from some good greasy food. And when you're drinking, your inhibitions are lowered and you're not thinking about the consequences the next day. You're not thinking about the consequences it's going to have on your diet. You're just thinking about how quickly can I get this pizza delivery guy to deliver me that extra, meat lover's pizza. That's all you're thinking about when you're drinking. So for me personally, if you're trying to diet and you're trying to lose weight, especially on a ketogenic style of dieting, because alcohol does have carbs in it, whether you're drinking beer or straight liquor. If you look up, just whiskey has a couple grams of carbs per shot. So if you're drinking whiskey, you might think that you're not getting as many calories or carbs as you're getting from drinking beer. You're still getting those carbs. So if you drink 10 shots, you're probably at like 50 grams of carbs. So you need to be careful when you're drinking, whether it's whiskey or beer. Just because you're not getting bloated doesn't mean you're not getting the same amount of calories or the same amount of carbs. There's still calories and carbs in straight liquor. So you need to be careful of that as well. So my advice to you guys is to drink no more than once a month if you're trying to lose weight. So for me personally, like I said, I started out, drinking multiple times a week. Then as I started to diet down, I really cut it back to, maybe 1 or 2 times a week. Then as I started getting really serious, I cut it down to once a week. And that's when I started to see the best results, when I was only drinking once a week maximum. Now I drink maybe once a month. So now I barely ever drink because I'm starting to see the real benefits in not drinking. I'm seeing the results from not going out and eating and drinking and eating more food because my inhibitions are down because I'm drunk. And then you gain all the water weight because you just drink a gallon of beer. So for me personally, alcohol has been something that I've needed to factor out of my diet for me to be successful in dieting. Lately, since my competition is over, I've been drinking a little bit more often than I usually would, and drinking a little bit shittier forms of alcohol than I should, like margaritas. That's one thing you guys need to be careful of as well, is any sugary cocktail type of drink is going to kill your diet. One margarita from a Mexican restaurant in the big old fishbowl glass, that's going to be like 600 calories, guys. That's going to really destroy your diet. So my advice to you guys is if you want to drink and you want to have a good time, you can still do it, but you can do it less often. So that's the main piece of advice I would give you guys. But if you're really serious about contest prep or losing weight or something like that, I would say cut out alcohol altogether, because it's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. It's only going to hurt you. So the way I see it, alcohol and bodybuilding, they weren't a match made in heaven. They just don't work together. You can make it work. You can drink once a week or whatever and do extra cardio and bust your ass to try to lose that extra weight that you put on from drinking. Or you could just not drink and not have to do that extra work, and you could have a better, smoother diet and a better, smoother prep. So that's my main piece of advice to you guys. As I sit here and drink this Pabst Blue Ribbon, my main piece of advice would be just to not drink if you're doing a prep or trying to lose weight. But if you're gonna drink, I would stay away from the sugary sweet drinks like margaritas. There's a specific beer that I like to drink. It's actually a cider. It's called Cidergeist. So it's very low carb. It's about 3 grams of carbs per can. and it's actually 6.3 or 6.5% alcohol by volume. So compared to a regular beer like a Bud Light or whatever that has like 3% alcohol, this has about twice the alcohol content of a normal can of beer, and it has about half to a third of the carbs of a normal can of beer. So one can of this will probably get you the same amount of a buzz as 2 cans of Bud Light or whatever. And it's gonna have less carbs. So again, it's called Cidergeist. It's made by a company called Rheingeist, and that's my favorite low carb option when I'm drinking, because I can drink maybe 3 of them and I'll be very, very buzzed off of 3 of these, you know, 6.5% alcohol cans of cider. And 3 of them will be, what, 9 grams of carbs, so it's not going to destroy your diet. Whereas there's other beers with, you know, 20, 30 grams of carbs per beer that would absolutely destroy your diet if you drank 3, 4, 5, 6 cans or bottles of that beer. So I would recommend, if you are going to drink, try something like Cidergeist that's low in carbs and high in alcohol content, so you get the maximum buzz for your buck, you could say. So the maximum buzz per carbs that you're taking in would be my main piece of advice. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys aren't, you know, drunk while you're watching this, but I hope you learned something. I hope this helps you out on your diet. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.